Welcome to CBJ in 30. It's being brought to you by Pedialyte. I'm Bob McElligott. Great for you to join us here on this very first venture of the year. I am joined by Blue Jackets forward Sean Monahan right now. And Sean, first of all, welcome to Columbus. This is kind of the first official welcome in this kind of setting, so it is great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Let me ask you about the Columbus journey for you. It all started during the summer. You're an unrestricted free agent. You're looking for a team to go play with. What attracted you to Columbus? What made you and your family decide this was the place you wanted to land?
Yeah, I mean, we're weighing all our options. This was a spot I definitely wanted to be, so I think there was a few opportunities out there. This was one that came to me, and I didn't want to let it slip by.
Now, I know that a big part of coming to the Blue Jackets was the chance to reunite with one of your best friends in the world, and that is Johnny Gaudreau. And unfortunately, the tragedy that his family suffered in losing him, I know that it's affected you in a huge way. And I've got to tell you something. The first time I ever saw you was at the Candlelight Vigil, and I saw how heartbroken you were there. And to watch you go through doing your job day in and day out, I've got to tell you, I'm really impressed. I'm just I know it's got to be very hard for you, but you don't make it look hard, especially when you get on the ice. But inside, how much has this been so hard for you to deal with?
Yeah, really hard. Tough every day to come to the rink, to be honest, but we've got a job to do. Try and enjoy it as much as I can when I'm at the rink, because that's what Johnny did. But yeah, it's really hard. I think about it 24/7 every day, so it's something I'll never get over and never stop thinking about.
And you come to a team where Johnny had played for the last 2 years, so it's not like you sign as a free agent with another group and nobody really knew him or nobody had been teammates with him. I mean, you walk into a room of a whole bunch of guys that feel exactly the same way you do, don't you?
Yeah, for sure, and I think that's something that helps out, because we can share stories and relay back on some of the things Johnny would do and have some great memories. So I think being around guys who knew Johnny, it's helping me out for sure.
Opening night, how difficult was that for you? Not only is there the video and the tributes, but you actually were standing alongside of Meredith. You were holding little Johnny while that banner was being raised to the rafters. I imagine that was not the easiest thing that you've ever done on the ice.
Yeah, no, it was really tough, to be honest. You're watching his number go to the rafters for, I guess the wrong reasons. And, I think you would think that jersey would be going up there at the end of his career. And, such a special player in person, to watch it go up like that, it's very sad. Yeah, it was definitely a tough one to play, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to, but we found a way as a team, and we all supported each other.
Not only did you find a way to play, you found a way to the net and to score a goal in that game. And when you popped up off the ice after scoring, the first thing you did was you pointed to that banner. You did it again over by the bench. Is that something that went through your mind? If I score a goal tonight, that's going to happen, or was that all just spur of the moment?
Yeah, no, that was just spur of the moment. I think it just happened. A lot of emotions. Having his number up there and his name is, special to me. I got to stare at it the whole anthem. So it's a good reminder of how special of a player and a person and friend he was to me.
You talked about finding a way to get it together and play the game hard. In the first couple of games that this team has played together, that has been a theme. And whether it's win or lose, it has not been for lack of effort. And what does that mean to you as a team member and as an individual, that you're surrounded by a lot of guys that have the same vision? Yes, it's always about winning hockey games, but for this group, it's about a little bit more. It's just about playing the right way every single day.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun playing with these guys, and I think we can surprise a lot of teams. We've got a motivated group who want to make an impact day in and day out. So, we got to find ways to win games more often than not. But I mean, a few little mistakes here and there, they cost you in this league. And I mean, once we clean up that, I think I really like this group.
When you were signing here as a free agent, did you study the roster? Did you think about guys that you might be able to play with, or just the different strengths and weaknesses of this team and how you could fit in? And if you did, now that you're actually in the room and on the ice with some of these guys, is it going the way you envisioned early on?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, you look at the roster, there's young guys that, are going to be real good players in this league, and they're starting to show it right now. So I think I've known Boone for a long time, and he's such an awesome guy, great captain. He's, the heartbeat of the team. So having him around is real good. Tough to see him go down, but obviously Johnny was a huge part of me wanting to come here.
You talk about Boone Jenner and what you just said about him being a leader, and you lose that aspect. You don't just lose the great player that's going to give you 20-plus goals a year, but you're losing that leader and that captain. And I know there are other guys in that room, and I know it's your first time in this room, but you've been around the National Hockey League. I mean, you're an older guy now in the league by definition. You're not old, but you've been around enough years to be considered an experienced veteran player. Do you try to take on any of that leadership, or do you just be you? And if guys see you as a leader, then so be it.
Yeah, I'm not going to change who I am. I think I can be a leader for guys, try and lead by example, step up in the room and talk when there's words that need to be said. But no, it's a really good group in there. Guys respect each other, guys push each other, and guys are here to win hockey games. So it's, like I said, it's been a lot of fun here, and we got to keep driving the boat.
You spent the entire training camp basically playing with Boone Jenner and Kirill Marchenko. So Marchenko thing was something you knew was going to happen, so you've had time to get used to it. When Boone goes down with the injury, all of a sudden Yegor Chinnikov gets the promotion to be on that line with you guys, and it's looked pretty good so far. What has it been like with the chemistry with those two guys?
Yeah, no, it's been good. They both want the puck. Chinny's got an unbelievable shot, so does Marchie, but they think the game at a high level. They want to make plays, and I think we still got a lot to build. We're still learning each other's tendencies and patterns on the ice, but I think things are coming around, and I think we can be a huge part of this team. Sometimes
people talk about communication, and obviously they both speak Russian. I'm assuming you don't, but they both speak good English too, don't they?
Yeah, it's getting there for sure. We're
or maybe you have to learn to understand the accent or the kind of English they're speaking.
Yeah, we're starting to call me Monahan off. So, no, they're great guys, and we talk actually a lot, and we want to learn off each other, whether it's off face-offs, forechecks, just making plays throughout the game. So, the communication's huge, and like I said, we're starting to learn each other's tendencies, and we want to have chemistry where we can go out and not think and just play.
I guess the chemistry is easy to come by when you have three guys that all play the same way in the fact that you all work. And you all, as you said, everybody wants the puck, but you're all willing to work for it. And when it's not there for you, easily give it to one of those other guys.
Yeah, for sure. I think, last night was a good example on Severson's goal. Chinny's in, and then Marchie's in forechecking, and you have another guy come in, support, and next thing you know, Marchie's got the puck, and Sevo's on a little breakaway for a big goal. So I think guys are hungry for it, and playing with those guys makes it easy for me.
I got to ask you this question because you would know better than anybody else. Kent Johnson, he's had a great start to the season. Look, he is not Johnny Gaudreau, but there are times when I'm sitting up top and I watch him make some moves, I can see some of that in him. He's got a great high skill level. Do you see any of that in Kent?
Yeah, no, he's a really, really good player. He's smart, he's confident, and when you're confident in this league and you have the skills to carry that, you're gonna be an impact every night. And I don't really want to compare anyone to Johnny. Johnny was a different player in my mind. I got to see it firsthand for basically a decade, and Kent's a special player too, and he's fun to watch, and I think he's going to have an amazing career.
All right, one last thing for you. You come here with a young family. All settled in Columbus. You get everybody situated. Everything's good.
Yeah, everything's great. I mean, we love it. It's feels like home. My wife loves it, and my little guy, I think he loves it too. I mean, he doesn't talk yet, but a lot more smiles down here. So it's been a good transition for us, and like I said, it feels like home.
I was going to say enjoy when they don't talk, because when they start, then they don't stop.
Yeah.
But when they're not talking, they're doing a lot of crying, especially at night.
Oh yeah, he loves crying at night right now. So he likes to keep his parents up and keep them a little tired. But no, it's been a lot of fun, and like I said, my family's been loving our time here so far.
Well, Sean, thanks. So we've been loving so far what we've seen in a very short sample size with you on the ice with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Thank you for joining me. Really appreciate it, and best of luck as we roll along here.
Thank you very much.
That is Sean Monahan, Blue Jackets centerman. This is CBJ in 30. It's presented by Pedialyte. Coming up next, I'm going to talk with Mike Russo of The Athletic. He covers the Minnesota Wild and the NHL. We'll chat as we continue.
Here are 5 great reasons to get a Blue Jacket season ticket plan this season. 1. Choose the games you just gotta see. 2. Plan start at just 6 games. 3. Incredible savings. 4. A ticket trade program for games you can't make. And 5. Invitations to exclusive events all year long. Come on, need more reasons? Visit BlueJackets.com/tickets today.
Welcome back to CBJ in 30. Bob McElligott with you, and I'm joined right now by Mike Russo, who covers the NHL and the Minnesota Wild for The Athletic. And Mike, I can't believe the Blue Jackets and the Wild have already seen each other once and are going to see each other again, and the season series is going to be over just a little bit over a week into the regular season.
Yeah, it is crazy. Pretty fun for Dean Evison, I think, although I'm sure he would have loved the win on opening night, but I'm excited to get to Columbus tomorrow. The worst part of my trip to Columbus is now with Rimmer retired, though. I have nobody to force me to buy him lunch.
Oh, we can find somebody. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited to get there. As everybody, if you're a Blue Jacket fan that follows me knows, I love my trips to Columbus. My longest, oldest friend in the world is actually their VP of tickets, and Marty Mulford, and the sports editor that really gave me my start down in South Florida years ago is now the sports editor of the Columbus Dispatch, Brian White. So I'm excited. I'm going to have dinner with both of them tomorrow night.
See, you always find a way, Mike.
Yeah. Only this one, they're going to pay their share, I have a feeling. A little different when I'm with Rims.
Are you sure Jeff Rimmer didn't cash in a free flight voucher to come up here just to, cash in on you?
No, he wouldn't waste a free flight voucher on me. He would find somewhere else fun to go.
All right. Hey, let's talk about the Wild. As I said, the two teams just opened against each other last week in a great game, really, quite frankly, a 1-goal game. But Minnesota's gone through a couple of injuries since we last saw you guys, and one big one, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, Jared Spurgeon, their captain, is out. Last year, he had season-ending hip and back surgeries. And as I suspected when we didn't see him in Winnipeg, he's had, I wouldn't call it a setback with that, but he's definitely dealing with some sort of soreness or stiffness. And Bill Guerin said today it's just part of the healing process, and they're going to keep him out of the start of this road trip. So the Wild are actually technically on a 7-game road trip. They played their first 2 games in Winnipeg and St. Louis, took a pit stop back here in Minnesota, and then we'll leave for Columbus on Friday and then continue on to Florida, Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh. He will not be in the Columbus, Florida, and Tampa Bay portions of the trip, but they'll see after he gets back on the ice a little bit, lets things calm down, if he could rejoin the team, maybe in Philly and Pittsburgh. But this is big because he is their captain. He's one of their best defensemen, and they had to deal with him being out of their lineup for all but 16 games last year. So, I really hope for his health. Again, they say that they've examined him and they don't see a setback, that this is just normal.
Well, that's good news. What else is new on the injury front there right now?
Yeah, Eriksson Ek broke his nose against Seattle. He didn't play in Winnipeg or St. Louis. He had it surgically reset on Monday. He looked good today. He's wearing a full bubble. And anybody that watches Eriksson Ek plays knows that he's a goal mouth scrum machine. So now if you punch him in the face, you're going to be punching the outside of glass. But he will be in the game in Columbus. Marcus Johansson missed the St. Louis game, I believe, with the Charlie horse. He had Jordan Eberle checked into his leg against Seattle. Played in Winnipeg, didn't look good. Missed the St. Louis game. He practiced today. Jonas Bardeen, another one of their top defensemen. Didn't practice today. They say it's maintenance and that he'll be on the ice Friday before their flight to Columbus.
You got to see a goalie goal the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, that first one I've covered in my 30 years covering the league. I've never seen anything like it. It was fun. I've had wild goalies, watched them try it before. Capo Kakkonen did it a couple years ago when we were in Florida. Didn't make it. Yeah, Philip Gustafson, it was perfect. Buchnevich shot it right into his glove with about 10 seconds left. And man, did he get some height on that thing, and it went right dead center of the net. So really a fun thing for the team, for even the fans in St. Louis got to enjoy it. Marc-Andre Fleury is the one with 8 seconds left at a timeout that told him, hey, you're up. Oh, excuse me, it was 34 seconds left. St. Louis called time down by 2. Fleury pointed out to Gustafson he called what he called a quick goalie meeting at the bench, and he told Gus, go for it. If you get it, you're up by 2. You're not going to, even if it's an icing, it's a 2-goal lead. And he just nailed it. So it was really fun. The guys mobbed him on the ice. Guys like Faber and Brodin were super excited. And then he did the old flyby by the bench, fist bumps and things like that. So Gus will be in the net almost guaranteed against Columbus tomorrow. And he played really well against Columbus on opening night. A real tough game. I was really impressed with Columbus that night. One guy, Bob, and I'm sure we'll get to it, that really impressed Bill Guerin and Chris Kelleher, their assistant GM, who are running USA Hockey for both the Four Nations Face-Off and the Olympics. That was Zach Werenski. Zach had a great game that night, scored a goal. Huge back check on Matt Boldy to break up a breakaway, had 7 shots on net, I believe. And Werenski has put himself in position now to really maybe make this Four Nations team, or at least the Olympics, where they have a little more roster room.
Yeah, that's great. And, Zach has been a good player for a long time now in this league. He's been banged up with some injuries the last couple of years. And when he is healthy, it's noticeable.
Yeah, and man, does he hammer the puck. He's a great guy there. I know he's not the captain of that team. Sometimes I look at him as the captain just because he's been there so long. And that's taking nothing away from Boone Jenner, who, by the way, Dean Evison just adores, and huge blow for them not to be in the lineup for at least 5 months, which they announced here on opening night. I like Columbus's team. First of all, they're big. That night that they played the opening night, I know they've suffered a huge injury since then with Gib Branson, and literally huge injury. He's a big man. I wouldn't want to get punched in the face by him. But that night against Minnesota, they had every player in their lineup 6 feet or more, except for Kevin LeBanc. And the Wild are amongst the smallest teams in the league. And I thought it really hurt the Wild that night. The reach of their defensemen, was very noticeable to me. And so are their really quality young kids, guys like Fantilli and Cole Sillinger, who, I smile whenever I mention Cole because I covered his dad, Mike, in Florida, and one of my favorite players ever. But Kent Johnson having a great start to his season. So really exciting with some of the young kids that they have there. And another Sillinger that, by the way, Dean Evison loves is Owen Sillinger. He, obviously a different player than Cole, but somebody that Dean that really was hoping would have a chance to make the fourth line. Obviously, they've started him in Cleveland, but he's somebody that he thinks has a future in the National Hockey League.
Hey, Mike, let's talk about the NHL for a moment here. Goalies getting paid. Jeremy Swayman got it from the Boston Bruins, and now Jake Ottinger is the next big-ticket goalie in the NHL.
Yeah, and it's all going to really continue with Igor Shesterkin gets his, $12 million a year, and it's going to happen for the Rangers. Obviously, he wants to get a little more than Panarin, and Panarin is their highest paid player at about 11.6. And Elliot Friedman has really surmised that since he is the best player on the team, that you're going to have to pay him as such. So Rick Comro is clearly going for big time money. But I love Ottinger. He's from here in Minnesota. Really bright young kid that has just done really, really well in Dallas. Not great last year, but 2 years ago, we really came on the scene in that Calgary series, in that Dallas series. It was either 2 or 3 years ago at this point. But Ottinger, we call Minnesota the state of hockey. But if you actually look at the history of hockey in Minnesota, we haven't produced a ton of goalies. Ottinger and Charlie Lindgren are 2 of the best. And Ottinger just looks like he's going to be a stud for a Stanley Cup contending team for a long time in Dallas. So, look, they're the most important position on the ice. It's about time they get paid like it. I get where teams are nervous about it because it's so erratic year to year on how good a goalie is. And I think a lot of us in our own mind need to reset what a good goalie is. This is a different league now. It's not like the days when when we really got into the league and started watching these guys have 920 to 930 save percentages every single year. And if you had like a 918, you were sort of middle of the road. Now, I mean, if you get a 906 save percentage in today's fast, high octane NHL, it's a pretty good goalie. And so the problem that teams have is that when you have erraticness, you don't know how much to pay these guys. But ask the New Jersey Devils how important it is to have a goalie. That's what's really made them struggle the last couple of years. It's why Tom Fitzgerald went out and made the deal to get Markstrom in there. And you really got to have a rock between the pipes to be able to go and win a Stanley Cup. And
let's be honest, the Florida Panthers, Sergei Bobrovsky, a lot of people were questioning that contract. Yep. He wins the Stanley Cup. No more questions.
Exactly. And I was around them for 2 months during their cup run last year. And Bob was everything that they want him to be and more, especially from the second round on. And you're right. I mean, when he got that huge contract there, he struggled right off the hop. But man, they've put together that goalie like symposium down there. They got like about 6 people running, from Roberto Luongo to his brother as well. They got a ton of people part of this to go and unearth goalies, work with these goalies. And obviously from, Spencer Knight to Spencer Martin to Alex Lyon, it just seems whoever they put in net for Florida usually plays well.
Yep, it sure does. Mike, always great to talk with you. I appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you here with the Wild.
Yep, anytime. And if Rimmer has any extra per diem laying around that he didn't use, I know it's far-fetched. You can send it my way.
All right. That is Mike Russo. He covers the Minnesota Wild and the NHL for The Athletic. Back with more CBJ in 30 right after this.
Listen. For months, it's been getting closer. And closer. And now it's here. Hockey is back. It's time to fire the cannon, fifth line. Tickets on sale now at BlueJackets.com.
This is CBJ in 30 presented by Pedialyte. The Blue Jackets homestand continuing on Saturday night. They take on the Minnesota Wild at 7 o'clock. And Saturday, it's going to be another big game and a big day overall. You know why? Because there is a kids' plaza party that is taking place before the game. It starts at 3:30 in the afternoon, and there will be music. There will be games. Stinger will be there, and Stinger has invited some special friends. And you never know who those friends are. The only way you can find out is by showing up at the Plaza Party. On the ice, the Blue Jackets and Minnesota Wild are going to close out their season series. Yeah, already. They only play each other 2 times. They opened the season against one another in Minnesota. The Blue Jackets lost a hard-fought 3-2 game in that one, and now Minnesota is here to close out the series. Then on Tuesday, the Toronto Maple Leafs are coming to town for a game at 7 o'clock. Now, this will be a big test for the Blue Jackets, and I'm not overlooking the Minnesota Wild. That's going to be tough as well. But when you talk about Toronto, they have so many high-flying offensive players that can put the puck in the net. They are always dangerous. The biggest change they made in the offseason was they hired Craig Berube to be their head coach. Now, Craig Berube previously led the St. Louis Blues to a Stanley Cup championship, and he loves the fact that he's got offensive players, but he also loves to play aggressive hockey with a little bit of an edge, and that's the way St. Louis went all the way to the Stanley Cup final. So that'll be a little bit of a change for Toronto. They are making the adjustment to that, and Austin Matthews, it's been a bit of an adjustment for him at the beginning of the season. A bit of a slow start. In the first 4 games, he has 1 goal and 2 assists, but you know something? That changes very quickly with a player that has the skills that Austin Matthews has. And it's not just him. Again, there are plenty of guys the Blue Jackets will have to account for. If they are not playing defensive structure and paying attention to detail, they're going to be in trouble in that game on Tuesday night. So it's going to be a big test. That's Minnesota on Saturday. Toronto is going to be here on Tuesday. Both games start at 7 o'clock, and we hope that you're here at Nationwide Arena. That'll do it for CBJ in 30, presented by Pedialyte. Until next time, I'm Bob McElligott.